Live. We're live! Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered on Steam Deck. So, the day arrived, here we are. This game is verified. So technically, everything should be fine. It was before release, it released a few hours ago. But keep in mind that also The Last of Us Part 1 was verified a few weeks after release, I think it was, or a few months. And it doesn't run particularly amazing in certain levels on Steam Deck. So I was worried. But this is the first time I launched the game on Steam Deck. I've been playing it on PC. 4060, I already made a stream. You can find it on my channel. But right now we're playing The Last of Us Part 2 on Steam Deck. Default settings. Again, never launched this game on Steam Deck. It's the first time. Hey, how's it going? Steam Deck preset? Wonderful. If it has a Steam Deck preset, I'm all in. But let's see what it decides on its own. I'm interested. Thank you for watching. We're also going to see the smaller screen. Last time you guys really liked that, so I'll show you in the capture card. And here. Jeff! Todo bien, Pedro, ¿y vos? Yeah, apparently it's good, but let's see, I'm going to try and skip. Okay, allows me to skip this. Okay, first order of business, I'll disable the film grain. But let's see what settings I put by default. Okay, VSync on, 800p, native, frame gen off, FSR 3, dynamic 30, makes sense. What's next? Graphics options. There's a Steam Deck preset. I cannot believe this. This is fantastic. Although I disagree with the texture filtering, but that's fine. Okay. Now that fulfilled, interesting. Low motion blur with a little intensity. Okay. Yeah. I actually kind of agree with these settings. So let me just disable film grain and chromatic aberration and camera shake. I personally don't like how that looks. But the rest, despite me not agreeing with this, you know what, whatever. Let's put it on 4 times isotropic like the PS5. But the rest is a Steam Deck preset. But I'm happy to see a Steam Deck preset. GG, that's how it should be. But it's very close, seems to low settings. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, already you have my respect if there's a Steam Deck preset. What does texture filtering do? When you see textures at an angle, you don't see them pixelated. It's not a huge hit to performance. I mean, it's not almost never a hit to performance, honestly. So let's see if the shaders are already compiled. It should be right away. Okay, I'm not seeing anything that says compiling shaders. Oh, never mind. There's the loading circle. This is on an SSD, by the way. Yeah, I 16 times it as well, but sometimes, just to be sure. Okay, it is compiling shaders. Almost done. Done. And on PC, I played quite a bit. I played over 2 hours, and I got to a more open location. So before I move, let's see the Steam Deck setting. Let's see. Okay, the Steam Deck is crying. Let's start with that. And the motion blur, I'm not a fan of motion blur. Even if it's 30 FPS in this case, it's way too aggressive. Let's say a few GPU cycles. I'm sorry, I cannot pull myself down to use motion blur. It's way too much. Ah, that's way better. No motion blur. Thank you. What about frame gen? What about no? Now, if the base is 30 FPS, I'm not using frame gen in real life, but I'm going to do it anyway because you guys ask for it all the time. But we'll leave that for later. But in this open location, which again is more demanding than the beginning of the game, we seem to be at the edge over there. I should have restarted the game though, I'm an idiot. But it's using dynamic res and it engages quite often, actually. But hey, not bad. No, I'm not using the frame gen decky mod thing. I'm good. Maybe next time.
We'd line up for blocks. And the food sucked. I go crazy.
But it looks good. I'm noticing less depth to the scene, to say it in some way. That extra shading around the characters is gone. So yeah, the Steam Deck preset is basically low settings with 800p, so the native resolution, with dynamic resolution targeting 30 FPS. So Steam Deck preset.
At least we're ready for him.
Plus FSR 3 dynamic res 30. It runs way better than The Last of Us Part 1. Yeah. Yeah, people love frame gen. Nothing better than input lag with a base frame rate of 30. Okay. Yeah, this is the OLED. There are some frame time spikes, but nothing major. When I'm noticing drops the most actually is when the dynamic resolution kicks in. When the dynamic resolution kicks in, it drops to 29 and it's like a big drop when I move the camera very quickly. I'll show you an easy example. I look at the sky. So now the dynamic res is like, oh, we can do native res. And then if I drop very quickly, it should drop to 20 something and adjust the resolution to hit 30s. Yep. And there it goes. It does it very quickly though. But again, this is one of those open locations. I'm here on purpose. But still. But just to make people happy, some people, I'll enable frame gen. Again, I do not recommend frame gen if your base frame rate is 30 FPS. And I should restart the game as well. Disgusting. What can I do? Oof. Okay. Let me restart the game. Let me pretend we didn't see that. Fantastic. I wouldn't play it any other way. Yeah, the input lag plus, well, whatever you are seeing on screen. Why base frame rate should frame rate be used? I mean, if you're going like borderline, what would be the best? 60s would be a good base. But then if you go to 45, the lowest I would go for frame rate is 45. But again, I notice the input lag, so I'm not a good candidate to tell you that. 45 I would say is the absolute minimum. And then 60s would be okay. Mega Metal Wolf, why is input like your ex-wife? Would you explain that to me, sir? I'm reading the chat right now. Yeah, on the Rogue Ally it will run better, without a doubt. It's a more powerful device on the CPU and GPU side. So let's see, with frame gen enabled, what happened? Didn't AMD recommend 50? No, AMD recommends 60 and Nvidia recommends at least 45 for their solution. I'm talking about hands-on experience. Yeah. Maybe it's the dynamic resolution. Let me disable dynamic res. Let's just keep it at a consistent something. What happens if I put it on performance? Oof. Jesus Christ. Well, FrameGen is not working correctly. Maybe you can unlock it with the the DLSS thing override. But my eyes are bleeding. Ugh. Much better. Let me see if I can use a consistent resolution instead of dynamic. So FSR3 quality. Because whether we like it or not, FrameGen off. Whether we like it or not, dynamic resolution has a cost on performance as well. Yeah, actually, it's doing way better with just putting it on quality FSR. But let me tell you why that happens. So dynamic resolution, basically, again, there's something in the background saying, okay, are we above 30? Yes, I'm simplifying. Of course, it doesn't work like that. Okay, our target is 30. Okay, our base resolution is 800p. Okay, 1280 by 800. If it drops below 30, they drop the resolution until we reach 30 FPS. That's basically how it works. So you're jumping between native resolution and lower resolutions to hit 30 FPS. In this case, the game is trying to get to 800p and then goes down because it notices that it's not enough with the native resolution, and it goes up and down, up and down. But if I tell the game, hey, dude, quality FSR consistently, okay, it's like we keep a consistent resolution, the game doesn't have to go up and down, and we can lock it to 30 FPS. And of course, you're not getting native resolution, but you're at least getting consistent above 30 FPS. Can you try with system-wide FSR? Yeah, sure. That's actually a good idea, now that I think about it. But hang on. So what I was saying, let me prove it to you. I'm enable FrameGen, dynamic resolution. And again, when I'm looking this way, the game is basically native. But when I look this way, it's probably below 30, so it drops up and down. And it puts us at 29, 30, 29, 30. There's like a bump. It doesn't feel good. It feels inconsistent. But on average, you should have a little higher pixel count. So let's do what some people said. Let's use the system level FSR. So we disable FSR completely. So we're at native 800p now. So FSR off. We're on the Steam Deck preset with native resolution. Oops. So now we're at native resolution. This is the TAA that the PS4 uses, which should be okay. And on graphics, we're using the Steam Deck preset with one change. The change is anisotropic filtering. No reason not to use it. And all this is just a Steam Deck preset. And let's see how it looks like. Okay. See, there were borderline 30s with native resolution. It actually runs better than I expected. It looks a bit blurry, but again, it's native 800p. You can check what anisotropic filtering does on Google. There's a lot of explanations. But basically, when textures are seen from an angle, they are not pixelated. I'm simplifying it quite a bit. Just look it up. It's pretty easy. And 1 second that my dog is complaining outside. Be right back. Okay, there it goes. He's in. Who's a good boy? Yeah. I mean, Google it is the best way because it's a good explanation. It's not a hard concept to grasp, but explaining it takes more effort. Anyway, as I was saying, here we're at native, but let's just use system-wide FSR. I don't know why it locks me to 540p. I'll see if this works. And it's not 4x3, come on. Okay, so now we're at 1152 by 720. Steam Deck preset, FSR, system wide. So technically now, again, we should be able to control the sharpness from the Steam Deck's menu. Okay, so if I do this, I should be able... Okay, there's no FSR here. Yeah, I need to be in windowed mode for this. Too bad. Maybe... Because in windowed mode, it doesn't allow me to use that 720p thing. Yeah, I'm not sure if sharp means FSR now. I think it is. Did they change what the overlay says? Anyway, 720 works now. Okay. So now we have system-wide FSR. Let me show you by zooming in. This might look weird, but don't worry. Everything is under control. So as you can see, it doesn't look great if I zoom in because it's a low pixel count, but I can control the sharpness now. So I can over sharpen the image as much as I like. This is minimum sharpness, this is maximum sharpness. So that's a way to do it. Yeah, they changed it. So by using that, you get a performance increase and you can control the sharpness, but you can already control the sharpness within the options menu, so I don't think it's necessary. Or just, again, using XeSS quality may be a good idea. It looks better than FSR in this game. So while that works, in this game I wouldn't necessarily use that. Yeah, I think they removed the FSR thing and they call it sharp now. I don't know. Oh, we can use FSR 3.1 native AA. That's a good solution. But too expensive for the Steam Deck. Same with XeSS. So what I would do, XeSS quality. And we can control the sharpness from here. Okay. That convinces me way more, actually. Oh yeah, that's way better. So 1280 by 800. Steam Deck preset. And we're using XeSS quality. We could use ultra quality, I think. I think that should be good. And you can control the sharpness from here. Put in 0. Yeah, you can also try 540p, which would be... Let me think. Yeah, I think 540p is actually what quality upscaling looks like. But it doesn't look amazing with the built-in FSR. Maybe later. So I'm not sure why they chose dynamic resolution. Because if you just cap it at quality upscaling, it stays above 30 in an open location like this. So I don't know what's going to happen later. But this works pretty well. Again, considering it's the open area.
Whoa, check out the tank.
I think we could actually push it a bit higher. But I gotta say, it looks pretty damn good on the Steam Deck. I'm looking at a screen right now. We're going to swap to seeing how it looks on my hands.
What is it?
Sorry.
Skeletons.
I don't think 40 FPS is a good target to have. We're already CPU bound.
Kind of like those astronauts.
What are you talking about?
I think I'd rather increase the settings a little
Early
bit.
moon missions.
I think I'll do that, actually. Because the Steam Deck preset is fairly similar to the low preset. If I go to Steam Deck, I get 37. If I go to low, I get 37, 38. On medium, I get 32. I think we could keep it on medium. I don't know. I have a feeling that we can handle it. The bounce sliding, it's a major hit. Yeah, no, I'm not keeping that. So medium preset, maybe textures I'll have to go lower, but I like pushing the Steam Deck and make it cry. For 540p with XeSS on quality, that's even lower. But again, let's try to find best looking settings and if they work properly.
Well, at least they died for something worthwhile.
Exactly.
Because medium versus low,
Other assholes.
it's actually visually pretty noticeable, at least in my opinion. But again, I don't know later into the game how's that going to affect things. Yeah, I mean, the draw distance on medium, much better. Let's see once I hit the particles. Okay. Yeah, with a 30 FPS lock. Yeah, I think medium settings with quality upscaling is the way to go. The draw distance is way better. There is shadows around the characters that are missing on the other preset. And with the dynamic resolution off, it's actually over 30 basically across the board so far. Disagree? Why? Or you're playing with talking to somebody else. What's wrong with this setting? What gives more FPS, FSR or XeSS? XeSS gives you less FPS. I mean, it's more... Man, my Spanish is showing. It's more demanding. XeSS is more demanding, but looks better, at least in my opinion, in this game. Then FSR looks okay, runs better, but again, I think XeSS just takes over. Yeah, performance is better than part 1, definitely. Part 1 uses more CPU for some reason. Dynamic resolution on. In this case, I completely disagree, but it's fine. Whatever. Because here the dynamic resolution is so aggressive. It's trying to hit 800p so badly that it doesn't stay at 30. It randomly drops to 29, 28. Feels inconsistent. But again, that's just how I see things. If you like the game dropping to 28, 29 randomly, when it could easily maintain over 30, that's fine. Your choice. That's a good thing about PC.
Stay low.
You're only getting drops to 35. Are you playing the prologue? Because the prologue runs way better than this part. This part is way more demanding. Way bigger map. Anyway, before I go off the hook, that theme, I'll show you what it looks like on the smaller screen. I think you'd be surprised. Because I'm always surprised when that happens. Give me 1 sec. Oops. There we go. Small camera. Hope this is clear enough. Let me focus the camera correctly before I continue. I know. This is a weird way of seeing it. Oh, okay. This is the OLED. Okay. Let me see if the volume is correct. Yes. Oh, I cannot hit a thing with this. And honestly, this looks incredibly good on the smaller screen. It's stupidly good looking. Even if it's quality upscaling. How did you shrink your giant Steam Deck? I stopped giving it water.
That way.
I don't think we should go higher than medium, honestly. But this looks incredible. I'm blown away. Yeah, so far I would say it's a great experience on Steam Deck. We're going to try a higher frame rate later. And hang on. I don't know why it got so dark. Yeah, I'll increase the brightness, and that should do it. The battery, 2 hours of battery, if you're playing with unlocked frame rates. What GPU is in the Steam Deck? Google it. It's an APU. It's a CPU and GPU on the same die. And the name is the Van Gogh, I think it is. So if you want to look it up on the internet, it's there. Oof. Okay, I thought it was going to see me, but apparently not. But don't play on a 55-inch TV. Obviously, it's going to look bad on the bigger screen. Hold up. It looks weird on you guys' screen. Let me put it at 60 Hz so the camera doesn't vomit. Because it looks weird on the video. Okay. I think we're good. Also, can you guys hear the game correctly? No, what? I'll shoot everyone. I couldn't. Okay, that works. I forgot how to play this with a controller. Jesus Christ. Have you ever tried AR glasses with Steam Deck? Actually, no. I was offered to try them, but that didn't happen in the end. I actually got offered to review one. Well, that ended up not happening. Great. Oops. Oh, I can grab from... Okay. I could grab from the prone position. Gotcha. It's funny though that in this small amount of grass, I'm actually hidden. Oh yeah, no, you're going down. I don't know why it gets so dark. Oh, he didn't see me. Okay, I got you. Oh, same, Sandor. No, only XeSS quality without frame gen. Come on, there we go. Anybody else? No, I don't think so.
I don't get it. If there were still people around, they would have cleared this place out, right?
Maybe they didn't make it to this spot.
Maybe. Let's find that gas.
What if you use balance XeSS and frame gen? No, don't use frame gen. Guys, come on. Doesn't seem to be working properly, first of all, but the frame rate is way too low for frame gen. The game doesn't seem to like it. And the frame gen is separate from the upscaler, which is good, but doesn't seem to be working correctly, at least not on Steam Deck. Ever tried Steam Link on Steam Deck? Yes, and I liked actually Moonlight better, personally. Yeah, here the resolution of the shadows is pretty low.
How can you tell?
One.
Well, let me add more light,
On the wall. It's a Jewish thing.
because this doesn't make sense.
Flames just now, so.
Burst into flames?
Oh, I know.
Dumb joke.
I messed up.
Oh, unlike your other
There you
ones.
go.
You shut it.
That's way better.
This place brings back a lot of memories. My sister.
I forget that I can adjust exposure manually.
You never struck me as much of a believer.
Nah, but I like coming from a long line of survivors.
You mean after Outbreak Day?
That and
Runs far better than The Last of Us 1? Yeah, definitely.
my family.
Especially considering that this is one of the open locations of the game. I mean, just look at this. Yeah, this is my personal Steam Deck. I only have one. I used to have the LCD one when I started, but then I upgraded to the OLED because of the screen, mostly. And I wanted more battery life.
Okay.
Is 8 gigabytes of VRAM enough for high textures? Depends. If you're playing on 1080p, it should be okay. Maybe at 1440p as well, but
Found the gas.
if you do not use frame gen, should be okay. You're threading the needle, but you should be fine.
Here we go.
Did you see the white Steam Deck? Yep, I did.
What?
Looks pretty cool. I still rather have dark colors on my devices.
It's empty.
That sucks. Now what?
That's personal preference, of course. I don't know, they don't get dirty
Let's get out of here.
in a very noticeable manner. It was pretty expensive. How would it run on the Rogue Ally? The Rogue Ally will run it way better than this.
Do you
I'm pretty sure you can probably hit mid 40s, or if you lower the resolution enough, 60s.
I said when we left.
That's just a guess, of course.
I said when it.
But here where the CPU is crying, the GPU is crying, the Rogue Ally has a way faster CPU and GPU.
I think it calms me.
If you're using the highest power mode.
It's a way to deal with grief.
Does the game feel choppy? No, not really.
Show respect. It's
It feels
whatever.
fine. As long as you disable frame gen, you should be good so far. That's been my experience here. Have you played Ratchet & Clank? Yes, I did. I locked it to 30 because it wasn't hitting 40s consistently, but I think it looks pretty good on Steam Deck, that one. Yeah, I mean, the Steam Deck 2 will probably just destroy it, which is good. I mean, seeing how the Switch 2 will run certain games, I get more excited for the Steam Deck 2. Because it will be even more powerful, I'm pretty sure. No, I no longer have the ROG Ally. I borrowed it to a friend, and he was like, would you mind selling it to me? And I'm like, wait, I don't know. And now that I have more work to do on my full-time job, at the moment it's a no-no. So yeah, ROG Ally no longer in my possession. But it's just a time limitation. It's not that I don't like it. I'd rather focus on one thing.
What's this?
Oh, this is the Torah.
The what?
How does this run better than Horizon Forbidden West? Horizon Forbidden West is an open world game. This is more contained maps. And it's a different engine.
Half burned.
But yeah. Yeah. Rise of the Ronin. Hilarious. It's hilarious on the Steam Deck. Rise of the Ronin.
Just chuck everything.
But this game, actually, I'll call it verified. Finally, an actual verified game.
Hey, what are you doing?
I mean, there's been a few
Get to the other balcony.
good ones, but
Okay.
another verified game, finally.
Careful. It's okay. It's holding.
You make a benchmark video when you try some games at 3 watts. I haven't been able to play something well at 3 watts. I think 4 or 5 watts was already a tall order. But most games, when I get to the 3 watt range, just drop below 30 FPS. Doesn't seem to be enough power. Would you say this is better to lock at 30? Yeah, definitely. Especially for battery life.
Let's go find the courthouse. It might be worth grabbing some supplies before we press on.
But again, I'm pretty sure this is a good way to test it, just because of the fact that this is an open location. It's way more demanding than the beginning of the game.
My sister always avoided QZs.
It's not like this is a huge open world thing, but it's a bigger map than usual. Although there's some nighttime stuff that is probably more demanding. And thank you so much, Alejo Fossati, for the 500 Argentinian pesos donation. Muchas gracias. He says, it's revealing to see this game run so well while looking so much better than other games that run like crap. They can't keep telling us to get a better PC. GG. Well said. What that man said. Although, to be fair, it's a PS4 game at the end of the day as a base. But that doesn't mean it has to look bad. I mean, with limited hardware, this game still looks amazing. So that just tells me they need to be better when it comes to art. Do better art. Many games have ray tracing and stuff, but on the art department, they forgot to hire people, I guess. Are you from Argentina? I'm from Uruguay. So we are right next to each other. There when we're looking at the distance, I drop into the upper 20s, but for a split second.
I think Shimmer's getting sick.
What?
So yeah, this is fine.
She sounds a little hoarse.
Especially considering this is the open world section, one of the biggest ones, quote unquote. Although I'm seeing some spikes in the frame time that I cannot explain. Maybe it's CPU related. So in this case, what I would do is lock it to 30 over here. Oh, and the screen will be 90 Hz. It will look weird. Yeah, it does look weird. Hold up. I will do something because I cannot show you the screen at 90 Hz. My camera goes crazy when I do that. So it will look choppy, but it's not. So let me enable VSync half refresh rate. Again, this is something specific that I'm doing because I'm doing a stream and showing you on camera. Yeah, that should do it. Okay. think that did the job. Okay, can you use gyro? Yeah, sure. You need to just add it from the controller settings. Let me see if gyro shake flashlight. Oh, they use gyro for the flashlight when it turns off, like in the first game. But you can map it to whatever you want. Let me show you very quickly. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Gyro behavior, camera movement, guitar strum. You can put that on the trackpad actually. Ah, that's so awesome. Let's put it for camera. The gyroscope. Okay, of course I need to, before doing that, when does gyro enable itself? When I touch a button. This looks complex, but it's not. I'd rather put it as a joystick. Wait. Hold up. Something doesn't add up. Dead zones. Hang on. Something doesn't add up. Yeah, camera. Left joystick. This is the right joystick. Horizontal and vertical, yeah. There we go. Gyro lock at the edges. There's so many options. Here. No. Yeah, I'm not finding it. Sorry guys, I'm taking forever. Here. This is what I was looking for. The gyro. I don't know why they hid those other options. So let's put joystick. And let it be the right joystick for aiming. I don't know why sometimes it's weird. There we go. The right joystick. And I haven't put the activation thingy. Anyway, you can do it, but I'm pretty sloppy at the moment with it. I didn't put a way to activate it. In-game versus menu, yeah, that's okay. I think they moved it around actually. Okay, there we go. They moved it around. So I'm going to put that when I aim, that the gyro will be on when I aim with L2. But it ain't working for me. Yeah. Just something doesn't add up. I might make a tutorial on that. But they moved the settings that I know of. Like mouse is the best option? Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, some games don't support that correctly. Or maybe my gyroscope is just not calibrated. Yeah, I'll put it like it was. On camera. And I want a button to start it. Button behavior, there we go. Left trigger to enable gyro. Nope. Whatever. The thing is, the game does natively support it, but I'm doing something wrong. But I use it in a lot of games, so it's no surprise. Anyway. But I love gyro aiming, it makes me actually hit my targets. But this works. Anyway, So let me see the settings with you one more time. I'll go a little bit ahead in the game. So basically, I'm using XeSS quality. You can control the sharpness. Native resolution. In this case, I'm using half the refresh rate, that is 60 Hz in this case. But if I'm going to the graphics, instead of the Steam Deck preset, that is basically low settings. I tried it. The Steam Deck preset is basically low with some minor improvements. I think medium makes more sense, looks significantly better. And well, you could lower ambient occlusion a little. Ooh, and the reflections. That's going to be expensive. Anyway, something like this. No motion blur because I don't like it. Medium particles. You might need to lower this later, but for now, like this. And I don't like those chromatic aberration things and camera shake and film grain. And that's basically it. That's what I would use, at least for now. And when it comes to battery life, probably 2.5 hours of battery. Let's complete a bit more of the map. Okay. Because I want to get ahead to day 2, that is nighttime. There's rain, some parts, there's heavy fire. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Elfo. There's probably more demanding places, especially later on. So maybe that's why the Steam Deck preset is almost low settings, basically. That's my guess. That's why I'm testing this in this open location. But again, after this, we're basically in places with lots of rain and fire. So that's something to keep in mind. But again, if that's an issue, we lower the particles and the reflections. But I need somewhere... I need to get there, basically.
Help me out here.
Oh, and the Steam Deck shows up in the UI. It baffles me that The Last of Us 2 got a remaster before Bloodborne. Yeah. That's true. It's crazy. But the remaster, quote unquote, was to sell more PS5s. Because they increased the shadow quality, draw distance, reflections, and resolution over the PS4. So yeah, it's a remaster, but not a very good remaster. It was a $10 upgrade, like Days Gone, that's coming out soon. Yeah, the game is out. And thank you so much, Spencer Walker 21 for the $6.66 donation. And he says, "Can't watch live, but you still can't escape the devil." Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate the donation. Hope you're doing well and enjoying the stream. How many gigabytes? 115 installed, and it's 100 gigs download. So yeah, it's pretty taxing when it comes to space as well. As part of the remaster is no return mode. Yeah, I agree. The no return mode is basically a roguelike mode that I wish we had on the PS4 era. Because that's like a roguelike mode when you can get waves and waves of enemies. And that's very, very cool because the combat in the game is fantastic. And I feel that like in the campaign you have nice encounters to do the combat and all that good stuff. But without going into those specific chapters, you didn't have combat. If you just wanted to do combat after finishing the game, you had to go through the slow moments first, and it was annoying. So we definitely need a PC port of Bloodborne, I agree. Can you increase settings to medium high and still get 30s? No, here we are borderline 30 when looking into the distance. And by borderline I mean it drops to 29 sometimes if I use these settings. So going higher is a bad idea in my opinion. Just because of the fact that I'm already borderline dropping into cinematic frame rates. No, it's fine.
Is that it?
I think so.
But I'll show you a better way to do 30s. You go into display. Do not use VSync in this case because the Steam Deck does it for you. And then in frame rate cap, please tell me that you can go faster than that. Come on. In frame rate cap, put it at 30. That should give you the lowest latency. There we go, 30. So we have the in-game cap to 30.
Hey, little help?
And the frame times will feel a lot better. Let me change what it says here. 30, 330, yeah, sure. 30 FPS cap. Is it graphically on level with PS4? I mean, yeah, I would say so. Or if it is, if it isn't, it still looks very close to what I'd seen on PS4. I played a lot of this game.
Nope.
And yeah, I would say it definitely does look like The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, I got in trouble. But never landed.
Maybe it's a little bit worse when it comes to... maybe textures, I'm thinking. But without a side-by-side, well, the PS4 also has a higher resolution. I think it's dynamic 1080p, I think. So yeah, when it comes to settings, it does look very similar to PS4 to me. But again, that's just with the naked eye.
Parking garage.
DLSS FrameGen is not working for you,
That's what
but FSR is. I don't know then. You should lower those textures. With 8 gigabytes, I had issues. Do we have enemies close by? No. Yeah, this is the thing that the game puts for the flashlight, to shake the Steam Deck. But I don't like shaking my deck in public.
Careful.
Is the correct floor? No. Yeah, the deck, the deck pick. Yeah, guys, you're watching my deck video right now. Oof. Yeah, usually when you're not in control of the game... oh man, I know what's the problem now. My gyroscope is not adjusted. So it's consistently at the right. Yeah, no. I'm not using gyro for that. I was like, why is the game using auto aim? And it was me. Anybody else? Yeah, no, 30 FPS for aiming is difficult, but I did it on PS4. I should be able to do it now. Let's do body shooting. Let's pretend this is Team Fortress 2. Just be a body shooter. Oh, so close to getting me. I wonder if the FrameGen deck loader app will be better than in-game FrameGen. Probably. In this case, it's probably better, yeah. Whoa. Sorry about that.
Wait.
Ugh.
We got gasoline.
Our luck's changing.
Don't you jinx us.
Yeah, it's running way better than I expected, especially considering that I'm playing in the one of the open locations.
Now, how do we get out of here?
So I'm pretty impressed. I want to get to later locations that there's more fire effects and it's raining all the time. Those moments are probably going to be the key to see if these settings are consistently good enough. I was running better than part 1. Part 1 was developed after part 2. So it kind of makes sense.
Gate.
Could be a while before we
But
run
still.
into Abby and her friends. It might be worth grabbing some supplies before we press on.
Good point.
What do you do for a living? I develop VR stuff
How you doing back
on
there?
Unity.
Getting homesick?
And I repair computers and I do YouTube.
Same. Miss having a roof over my head.
Okay.
You know, I've always dreamed of fixing
Okay, I think I got it. I should go back now.
outside of Jackson.
Why wouldn't you stay in town?
I don't know. I like the idea of
Your face reflection on deck. Oof.
Only.
Nothing better than seeing my face on my deck.
So are we gonna
Damn it.
cows?
Are you making fun of me?
I couldn't resist.
No.
I'm sorry, guys.
Actually sounds kinda nice.
Really?
And the games are reported by different teams. Yeah, that's a good point. In this case, Nixes took over. I'm pretty sure Iron Galaxy was porting this one, and Nixes came in and did the rest. And I'm happy that they did so.
Well, that was an adventure.
Sorry about the brightness.
Haven't found any of them yet.
Hey,
Yeah, me too.
we barely started looking.
Yeah, I know. Just thought we'd see one of them by now.
Now we have gas. You could explore more of that open map. I'm not doing it because I want to progress in the game. But in that section that I showed you a moment ago,
Here we go.
you could keep exploring. There is more stuff to do. I'm just speedrunning. Water doesn't look great though. Yeah, the reflections on the water especially.
You put in the code.
But with the medium setting, water actually has some physics
Those
going on.
generators are pretty finicky, so might take you
So I'm happy to see that at least.
Oh,
Sorry, go on.
And actually the 30 FPS cap from the game is not fantastic. I'm going to use the Steam Decks, I think. I forgot allow tearing. So what was the code? No, not the here. 5345. 5345. The numbers, Mason. 5345. Beep beep beep. I'm doing fine, Blackman. What about you, sir?
Or they're just waiting for
You've been waiting to play part 2, but wanting it on sale for PS5 or might try it on Steam Deck. If you also happen to have a PC, if you play on PC,
those.
the save will sync with your Steam Deck because it's also the PC version. So yeah, fun fact.
Wolf. Don't you see that? Infected just hopped that fence.
And as you can see, the frame time is pretty spiky. Well, the solution is pretty simple actually. It's just to use the Steam Deck's system level FPS cap. The thing is, when I enable it here,
Shots or something?
the screen stays at
What's going on?
90 Hz. So you'll see it like a choppy mess, but it's actually 30 FPS. It's just that the camera doesn't like it. But this gives you a flat frame time. And the input lag, you'll notice it on the LCD. On the OLED, the input lag is pretty low in comparison. Okay, here we have some humans, I think. No, not yet. In this current state, would you say it's worth buying at full price? I mean, full price, I don't think it's a good idea for most games. If full price means, especially, what, 60, well, nowadays full price is $70. Or 40 something. Because the game is already, it's an old game, let's be honest. I know, yeah, it's the first time it's on PC, whatever. But I wouldn't pay full price for this. Especially if you already played it. If you never played it, well, I could understand. But usually on PC, games get discounted very, very quickly. So in 2-3 months, this is probably going to be like 30% off. That's my guess. So on PC, I usually don't recommend full price. Oh, there's also a link in the description to get this game cheaper, if you don't want to wait for a sale.
This one's fresh. And he's got one of those wolf patches.
That's what I got mine.
Guess they didn't make it out with their gas.
Oh no, blood.
That's good, right?
Those fuckers who
Yeah, that's another option.
by some random infected.
Then they'd still be dead.
Might as well grab what we can while we're here.
Nice. Well, yeah, those... Oh man, the Switch 2 announcement, so polarizing in that regard. Because of the $80 games and the visual upgrades being paid. Oof. That rubs me the wrong way. Do you think a smaller screen will kill the game experience? No, it will be fine. Just don't increase the FOV a lot. I think it works fantastically well on the smaller screen. I don't see any problems with this.
Been shot.
Some games like, I don't know, Battlefield 4, as an example. On Battlefield 4, everything looks too tiny because it was meant for a bigger screen. Especially enemies into the distance. But in this game, you don't usually do super long range combat. There is some of it, but again, it's pretty rare. I think it fits the smaller screen just fine. And if you don't like how it looks on the smaller screen, you can actually affect the FOV to be smaller. So if you go to accessibility and you go to motion sickness, if you go to the FOV and lower it to the minimum, and the camera distance, you lower it to the minimum, L is basically half the screen, and you get a better frame rate at the same time. So that's an option for smaller screens, to decrease the FOV. Personally, I'll keep it at default. I think default is good enough. But as an option, it's good to have. See, now L is no longer half the screen. That's the best way, I think, if you think it's too small on the smaller screen. But again, that's just optional. Nice. By looking at this, I'll be able to survive. Oh, much better. Now I'm an expert now. That really irked you on the PS5 when the main character is 1/3 of the screen. Doesn't the PS5 have the option for the FOV on the accessibility? I think even on PS4 we had that option. Maybe I'm mistaking it with Spider-Man. Switch 2 is going to be powerful, but the prices are insane. Yeah. I mean, again, this just makes me excited for the Steam Deck 2. If the Switch 2 has that good of a hardware, imagine the Steam Deck 2.
Come on. We can get out this way. Maybe catch up with Tommy.
Yeah.
Man, but this looks so good. It's insane.
I know you said Tommy had a rough past, but fuck.
Yeah, no, $90 for a game. I'm sorry. GTA 6, okay, fine. I'll do it once or multiple times.
Ellie,
But
my sister
no game is $90.
I'd do worse.
Worth $90, better said. In my opinion, of course.
You get the generator. I'll open the door.
Remember the code?
The one written in blood? Yeah.
I think that's BS. There we go.
Got it.
You paid for Hogwarts Legacy Digital Deluxe for $90. Yeah, but it's not like you're buying every game. Still, $90, steep. Too steep.
Where does this take us?
I'll pay 70 max if I'm super excited for the game. But again, that's just me.
I say we find shelter and we
Okay, spoilers, cover your face.
somewhere high up so we can scope out the area.
I like that idea.
Okay. Let's look for an open building.
Okay, this was the area, one of the areas that I was worried about. Okay, cannot skip that cutscene. No. Sorry, guys.
Get the other! Don't lose her! Go!
Sorry, you can't skip. No, not the horse! Damn it! Yeah, he entered Afghan. Yeah. That was close. I did enter that place. To be expected. Sorry guys, couldn't skip that. But good, we're now in a place that has more reflective surfaces. See the bright side, guys. Come on. You're a PC player and you've never played a game. You never paid for a game? Okay. I can respect that. At least you're being honest. Yeah, I mean, $70 in South America, it's a lot of money for a video game. I mean, for anything in general. That's why we have regional pricing. Sorry, cannot skip this. This is a playable cutscene. Yeah, $30 to $40. At that price, I would get it. 30 to 40, I think, is a good price for this one. Especially now that we have the roguelite mode. Rest in pepperonis. But depending on your region, you should be able to get it at a cheaper price. Why am I frozen?
Ellie, we should go. Somebody would have heard the gunshots. Look, she's one of them. Come on, look at that later. Was there a TV station on that map?
Okay, for some reason my webcam froze.
Fuck, Ellie.
Sorry guys. I'll be back in a moment. There we go. I don't know what happened. I was frozen for a second. Does he have the Nuvo? No, it doesn't. We can see a reflection. Oh yeah, true. Hold up. Let me refocus the camera. There it goes. Sorry about that, guys. Oof. Got me good. I still let him shoot me. But again, say whatever you want about the story. I agree that I do not like the story. But on the gameplay, they kicked it out of the park. And don't play on easy like I'm doing right now. If you run towards the enemy like this, you're screwed. Are you able to play the no return mode without having to play the main story? Yes, sir. The game will just tell you, hey man, you should play the story before this. And you're like, Roger,
Enough.
let us continue. That's basically what it is.
It was this way! Move up! Clear the rooms.
I love when people that didn't like the story started shitting on the gameplay. Yeah. Yeah, no. Gameplay is fantastic on this game. Oops. Well, gameplay, visuals, all that stuff. Oops. Yeah, they start attacking people that like the game. Yeah. I wish I looted more in this game. I forgot. Is there a way I lock to 6 FPS? Yeah, you can lock it to 60, but it's not going to get to 60.
Clear the rooms.
Well, at least I got the shoulder there. I'm so bad with the controller. I'm playing with controller and at 30 FPS. My aim couldn't be worse, even if I tried. Anyway, let me save. And I just saved when Dina shot. I need to see that in photo mode. Oh, never mind. Now let's try another thing. I'll load the open world and try to get a higher frame rate. How many does the Steam Deck cost? Depends on where you live. I had to import it from the US, personally. Because in my country, well, let's just say expensive is an understatement. Well, I think the Ally X in my country is like $1,500. So yeah. Does the game have frame gen built in? Yes, but it doesn't work properly for me on the Steam Deck. It was like stuttery.
If I'd stayed.
Okay, I'm back here in the boring moment. Boring because I'm just on a horseback. Let's try to get 60s somehow. Life finds a way. One sec. Okay. So we're at 36. What I'm going to do is go to very low. Okay, very low. What about low? Okay, low makes more sense. Low. Then when it comes to display, we're going to upscale it even harder. We're going to use performance upscaling, which is basically the amount of upscaling we use in Unreal Engine 5 games. Yeah.
Probably just become one more asshole soldier.
Yeah, we're still dropping below 40.
I can't see you taking orders from anybody.
Very low?
Yeah, good point.
I gotta say,
Yeah, no, at this point, I don't think it's even worth lowering the settings further.
occupied.
I mean, lowering the resolution further.
Maybe they're all hiding at the Saravina.
Very low.
How many WLF you think there are anyway?
XeSS,
Well,
FSR,
Mistake.
performance.
if we're lucky, that'll be it.
We'll be fine. But we should stay alert. Stock up while we can.
And no cap. No, this is not UE5. It's a custom
Ellie,
in-house engine.
Shimmer's getting
Even on very low, it looks fantastic though.
How can you tell?
She's
The thing is, when you get to more open locations, you're going to get drops below 40.
Come on, that was a good one.
Oh, I know what we could do, actually. Hold up. I forgot the built-in FSR. So let me turn off FSR. And we're going to go windowed 540p. And now we have our good old sharpness slider. Let's put it on 2. So 540p. Very low preset, FSR built-in. And on top of that, I'm going to upscale it to quality. So yeah, very few pixels. But it works. 540p, very low. FSR, frame gen off. This is a long name. Frame gen off. Plus, what am I forgetting about? Oh yeah, FSR 3 quality. But still, it doesn't hold 40s. At least not in this section again. And this is, I wouldn't say the worst case scenario, but very close to it. And again, the sacrifices that I had to do is resolution way lower, settings way lower, and we cannot consistently hold 40s. So yeah, I don't think it's worth lowering. What? So yeah, I think this should be considered a 30 FPS game. So I'll show you the settings that I will use, at least for now. I'm going to keep playing it. So just to make sure, I'm sorry somebody's speaking to me. So XeSS quality at 800p. There it goes. Once you do this, go into the presets. Don't use a Steam Deck preset. It's basically a glorified low preset. Medium, I think, is the way to go. Because if you look at medium versus low, the pop-in and the ambient occlusion, there's a lot more depth to the scene. So the medium preset, you might need to lower this, the particle density and the volumetric effects. And if you want more performance, you can also lower the FOV. If you get motion sick, you can increase it, but that will decrease performance. I'll keep it as usual at 0. This is what the PS4 does in that regard. We have reflections, we got good shadows, decent texture filtering, decent texture settings, decent draw distance. And that's about it. 800p with XeSS quality and those settings. And on top of that, you go in here, frame limit 30 FPS, and disable the in-game VSync. And that's about it. That should give you a decent experience so far. This is the biggest map I tried at the moment, so some minor drops to 29 when traversing. But with this, it looks pretty damn good. It hits 30s more consistently than with the dynamic resolution. The dynamic resolution in this area, if you see the beginning of the stream, horrible. Super inconsistent. So I think this does a way better job. So let me load where I was a moment ago. Here. Aiming must be a nightmare. At 30 FPS, yeah. But I'm just sensitive to that, I guess. And I'm also speaking, trying to come up with things to say at the same time. So I'm multitasking. When I'm actually playing the game, I mean, I played this on PlayStation 4 at 30 FPS, and it was fine. I'm just not used to that. Because now I have better hardware, and I can actually play it better. But still. Yeah, frame pacing. Frame pacing has been good until you get to the open locations. But it's way better frame pacing than part 1, which is not saying much. But still. So this is no longer 540p, my bad. 1280. I'll let him die in the meantime. 1280 by 800. Medium preset. Low particles. Frame gen off. Emphasis on off. FSR 3. No, this is XeSS. Just kill them, yeah, sure. XeSS quality. If you want a bit more stability, balanced XeSS. And you should be good. And I didn't grab any resources. I'm just going in naked. Ugh. Oh yeah, good crawl. I forgot that this game has crawling. That's freaking awesome. Oh, so close. A pixel. Can I play in a good quality with the 1080, GTX 1080? Should be okay, although this game is not very friendly with the 10 series of Nvidia cards. It should work. The thing is, again, not very friendly due to the DX12 nature of it, but I played it on a 1050 Ti. It was horrible, but again, it's a 1050 Ti. The 1080 should be way better. The 1070 Ti would be slightly better than the 1650, definitely, but the 1650 has better DX12 compatibility, which makes it probably run better on this game. Is XeSS good in this game? I think so, yeah. You can change the sharpness of XeSS as well. But I think it looks better than FSR. The thing is, it's more demanding than FSR. But I think in this game, at least on the Steam Deck screen, it does look better. In my opinion, this is the best way to play it on Steam Deck. Because of the, well, the visual quality, first of all. You have way better shadows, ambient occlusion, and all that good stuff. And at the same time, you get decent resolution and a decent frame rate. Can push better with graphics at 30, but always gets bottleneck when shooting for 60. Well, yeah, when going for 60, it's exponentially harder on the CPU especially, and the GPU. But again, I think it looks amazing. I was expecting way worse than this. Especially after playing part 1. This is fantastic. Thank you for watching, yeah. What is the difference between Steam Deck and PC anyway? I mean, the Steam Deck is a PC, but it has Linux instead of Windows. You can install Windows if you want to. And I think it's more of a, I mean, you can have a Steam Deck as your main gaming thing. But if you own a PC as well, it's a fantastic companion device. Because you can stream your PC screen to the Steam Deck. And it has a pretty good screen. And if you're not at home, I mean, if I can play The Last of Us 2 on a plane with this good quality, I don't see anything wrong with it. 2.5 to 3 hours of battery, yeah, but still. When I'm on a plane, I don't care if it's 60 or 30 usually. But for the hardware that we have here, I think this is very impressive. Is FSR performance of this game on 900p too aggressive on something like Steam Deck? Yeah. Yeah, because we're already at 800p. Why go higher? I mean, you can do it. Well, with performance upscaling, yeah, you can probably get away with it, actually. Maybe not on medium settings, but you should be able to do it. Let's heal very quickly. Don't mind me, just crafting some healing items. Oh no. No! Oh, okay, thanks Dina. Part 1 should look like this. Yeah, part 1 should run like this, without a doubt. But this was made before part 1. Part 1 is basically The Last of Us 1 with the engine of part 2. So technically, this game is older than The Last of Us Part 1. Ah! I'm not hitting anything with a controller, especially at 30 FPS. Run, run, run. I know that this door is the way out. Oh, of course it's locked. What's this window? Might have to be outside of combat. What settings are these? Can this run 60? No, not 60s. It's a 30 FPS game on Steam Deck, which, again, technically on the inside it's a PS4 game, and the PS4 already has a better GPU than the Steam Deck. If you look at, I don't know, Horizon Zero Dawn, if you run it at the same resolution as the PS4, the Steam Deck will be below 30, but if you run it at 720, it runs similar to PS4. So the fact that this runs as well as it does, I think is pretty impressive.
Come on. We gotta get away from this school.
I'm from Uruguay.
Now.
There has to be a way down.
Yeah, and that other way of calling it is also valid, don't worry. It's approved by a Uruguayan. Die! What series are these? Oh, I already read that. My bad.
This school.
Very cool.
Now.
There has to be a way down to the streets somewhere.
Okay, now that we're getting more into the game, I'm pretty sure that in the nighttime parts with lots of rain, it's probably going to suffer a bit more. But I was expecting this part already to be running like garbage, so... And again, window breaking technology. Beautiful. It had 2 glasses. I do not get tired of breaking glass in The Last of Us Part 2. Is this glass? No. And we have a... Look at this. No ray tracing, but there I am. Render to texture technology. See, this is what I say when you don't 100% of the time need ray tracing. This is a different way of doing it, of course, has its limitations, but this is what I call doing smart graphics. I mean, even on PS2 we had reflections. They were made in a different way, but the thing is, you don't 100% need ray tracing to get impressive graphics. Yeah, Silent Hill 2, I broke a lot of glass. If you see the live stream when I played that one, I wreaked havoc on that one. Yeah, for those reflections, artists need to work. For the ray trace reflections, it requires way less work. Yeah, I agree completely. Which means less development time. Less development time means less money spent.
Yeah.
So that's why.
I thought I was fucked back there. Thanks for the save, by the way. Of course.
Okay, so I'm getting closer to that area that I told you.
So, those are the wolves.
But I think it's a good way to play it so far.
Do you think
Let's see those reflections. This should be screen space mixed with cube maps. Yeah, definitely a cube map.
change anything for you?
No?
Yeah, and there's the screen space stuff. So when the screen space finishes, to say it in some way, you get a cube map. But those reflections, I'm sure on PS4 they look better. But it's also a higher pixel count, so that's probably why. Who knows?
How many?
My opinion of the story, I don't like the story. I think it's BS what they did with some characters. I'm not going to spoil it. But
They'll be out in
yeah, I think some characters take some decisions that are not what their character would have done. Let's leave it at that. I think that makes sense if you know what I'm talking about. But as a game, outside of the story, I think it's fantastic. I played a lot of this game. I just stopped paying attention to the story. The first time I was engaged in the story until some stuff happens.
Might have something. I'll see what's up.
But I love this game. Oh, so close on killing them. But as you can see, so far so good with these settings. Even with if there's a lot of grass in draw distance and I'm being chased. And my character is tired. I think I'm going to show you one more thing and finish this video because I've been streaming for, yeah, a lot of hours already. Hi guys, shoot me. No? Okay. But this looks good. GG. No, this is on Linux, on SteamOS. You could do this on Windows too, but I don't know. I think it's way better to just stay with the stock OS. Yeah, game journalist difficulty. Anyway, let me get back to the main menu. And I'm going to show the no return mode. The no return mode is a roguelike mode that I'm actually super interested in playing more. Because this wasn't on PS4. When they released the PS5 version of the game, they added this roguelike mode, and we can actually enjoy the gameplay without caring about the rest. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No return. Again, if you didn't finish the story, it doesn't matter. The game allows you to play this anyway. I'll play on game journalist difficulty. Oh, I have skins. Yeah, of course. The skin for the game that didn't come out yet. Better or worse than previous part in terms of optimization? Runs better than part 1, without a doubt. At least in my opinion. For what I played, you can check my previous video on part 1. Part 1 says verified, but once you get a little bit more into the game and you get to smaller towns and stuff, it's unplayable. It drops into the 20s and it has lots of stuttering. And here we have bigger maps and it runs better. So yeah. Okay, here I am. But as you can see, this is like a roguelike mode, and as you keep beating enemies, there's a boss fight at the end, and you keep unlocking skills. I think this is fantastic. This should have been here on day 1. But it's only on PS5 and PC now. So GG. We can play the roguelike mode. And if you don't care about the story or whatever, or you don't want the campaign, you can also play the roguelike mode. That has many characters. They built a better PC version, definitely. And also when compiling shaders, it no longer takes like an hour to compile them. Before starting each chapter, the game compiles shaders, so it's pretty quick. But in between each chapter, it compiles the shaders for the next one. And in this case, well, the Steam Deck probably has preloaded shaders because it's the same hardware. But as you can see, yeah, here we have wave incoming, blah, 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 blah. This runs better than the campaign because it's more static environments, smaller environments with less enemies. So here you're also going to have more battery life. We're trying on mid AMD GPUs. Unfortunately, I do not do AMD GPUs anymore. I cannot add more hardware, honestly, at this point because of time. And at the same time, as much as I like AMD stuff, it's like 10% of the market share. So most people are looking for NVIDIA videos, unfortunately. I've been doing AMD stuff, and well, people didn't seem to like it much. And it sucks because AMD, I mean, Nvidia needs competition. Let's be honest here. I'm trying to read and play at the same time. Bad idea. Not recommended. There we go. Reduce 2 atoms. Oh, no, no, no. One left. Come on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm playing worse than a game journalist right now. I don't know what's wrong with me. Ugh. Yeah, I think I'm tired. Why do you have a lock on the upscale method? Do you have it locked? What? Why? Yeah, it shouldn't be locked. Upscale method. Maybe you're using... No, it should enable automatically. Is it grayed out? Before I go, I'll do this again, but with mouse and keyboard. So at least even if I'm tired, I can do this. So let's go back to the big screen. So at least you can see how it looks in a raw manner, whatever that means. So now I'm plugged in. 30 FPS cap. Oops. You can't change. That's weird. Reset the settings to default and try again. But that shouldn't be an issue. Maybe some other setting is locking you out. Okay, you run, standard. Oh, there's a lot of characters. That's awesome. You say your AMD videos are getting liked? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they're disliked, they are liked. But the thing with the AMD videos that I used to make is that people weren't as interested. The NVIDIA videos get like 80% more views. There's no fail in that. So if I'm limited on time, why would I do AMD stuff as well? I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
Let's see.
It's like the Steam Deck. I get way more people watching Steam Deck stuff than ROG Ally stuff. So why would I have both of them if I'm limited on time? If YouTube was my only thing, I would be doing Ally, Ally X, Lenovo Legion Go, whatever. But yeah, definitely they get a lot more traffic by far. Which again is unfortunate because Nvidia needs competition. They always been pretty garbage when it came to being competitive. But yeah, all the proprietary technology BS really bothers me on Nvidia's side. Just look at the physics on 32-bit games. But hey, what can you do? Yeah, they're getting way too comfortable. Glass. Oh yeah, I feel right at home now.
Okay.
Yep, I'm complacent. You're considering buying a 7800 XT. There is a nice offer at the moment where I live. Go for it. Unless you're going to do ray tracing. Because the newer gen, the 9070 XT, wipes the floor with previous gen AMD stuff when it comes to ray tracing. But if it's a good price, sure. They're not bad hardware, definitely. It's just that if you want DLSS, you're not getting it. You have to either mod in FSR 3 or use FSR 3 instead. Okay. Yeah, definitely you can I think you can notice the difference of me playing with mouse and keyboard versus gamepad. Personally, in this case, again, I recommend XeSS. I think it looks better on Steam Deck. Both are not perfect, obviously. But in this case, I think XeSS makes more sense. It performs worse than FSR, but it looks better. I'm going to say in Spanish now. FSR versus XeSS. XeSS se ve mejor, pero corre peor. Y esa es mi opinión en este juego. Y tal, recomiendo XeSS para el Steam Deck. Eso es todo. Okay, that's it. I said it in Spanish as well. But it says at 30 99% of the time so far. Yeah, definitely that fire texture is better on PS4. That's probably because of the texture quality. Sorry, the particle quality being lowered. That's the main thing that I noticed above the PS4 version so far. That is very obvious. In this case, it does look better. XeSS looks better than FSR in this case. Doesn't always happen. Usually my issue with XeSS is ghosting. But in this case, the ghosting kind of fits the game. And FSR makes it look too chunky on the pixels, which is a pretty common artifact from FSR. Oh, the box. I'm an idiot. Come on. It's so weird. There we go. 1660 super? Yeah, sure. It works. 30 FPS medium, that's insane. I agree. It looks too damn good. For what I was expecting. After playing part 1. What do you think about XeSS and FSR? Which is better overall? It depends on the game. Usually, XeSS has more ghosting, and FSR is more chunky. It's like you can see the aliasing, especially at the edges. And XeSS usually has more ghosting, but in some games is well implemented. In this case, I would say XeSS is preferable, but XeSS runs worse. It requires more compute, to say it in some way. So it really depends. I usually see both on each game and decide on that factor, which one looks better to me at that point. And in this case, I think XeSS takes the cake, without a doubt. How does it run on the 5090? That's a great question. I might try it on the 4090, actually. My main PC has a 4090, and I want to play it at 100 and something FPS. That would be awesome. Because I played it at 60 on PS5 and at 30 on PS4. So I want to see how the hell it feels at over 100 FPS with mouse and keyboard. Doctor Maverick, no cambia tanto. o sea, son 4 frames más capaz. Y se ve bastante peor en comparación. Pero si rebobinas el video lo encontrás. Oh, this is what I was looking for, actually. The logging camp. The logging camp that has stuff on fire and stuff might be harder on the GPU. So it will be interesting. I do that one and I'll be done for today. 2 live streams in a row. And I gotta sleep and work tomorrow, so... Let's finish this part. And we go. Where are you from? Uruguay. South America, between Argentina and Brazil. Where that leads you to Uruguay. A small country, 3.5 million people. People with Steam Decks. I might be one of the few people on Uruguay with a Steam Deck. There's probably not many of those. Runs better than Until Dawn? Yeah. There you go. See, rain plus mud plus fire. There we go. See, this is the part that I want to reach when playing the campaign. I thought you were Spanish. I do look Spanish because my grandma came from Spain.
Right over there.
So yeah, my father is also Spanish, quote unquote. He was born in Uruguay, but grandparents for both sides come from Spain and Italy, so I look very Spanish from Spain. If you look at my face. But hey, it's working pretty damn well. Even in this part with more reflections. You can see there's screen space, then cube map. So yeah, even in the rainy situation, we're doing well.
They're not here.
But in the campaign, there's more stuff happening.
Found them! Up there!
There's more characters, more stuff on fire. It'll be fun to try it. The versus human combat in part 2 is so brutal. Yeah, man. The AI in this game, especially the humans, as you were saying, is amazing. They actually try and corner you and flank you. Ooh, looking at it this way wrecks the performance, actually. I wonder what's the cause.
They're fucking dead.
Yeah, looking at this way, it dies. This might be the only part where I saw this. Definitely will have to benchmark it in the campaign in this section. Definitely. This might be the reflection or the level of detail. Yeah, probably the reflections. Because I think they turn it off. Screen space reflections. And the reflections themselves. Yeah, weird. But it's just one section, so I guess that's okay. Yeah, I wish I knew. Or maybe I went too far with the textures. That's also a possibility. Oh, whatever. I'll do a video talking about this. A good thing I got into this map. Just looking at that place destroyed my frame rate for some reason. Yeah, I know. You can notice it.
Move in! She's empty!
Oh, yeah. And that thing that
Kathy!
I don't have any ammo and they notice. GG. Yeah, now I understand the pre-made settings. Although it's just one part, so I just want to know what setting is actually making it crawl like that. I'm super curious now. So on medium, 23, on low, 27, very low, 27, and Steam Deck, 27. So it's basically glorified low settings. The question is, which of these is the one that kills the performance in this part? Because it's very specific. Ultra specific, I would say. Once I find that, oh, I think it's this one. Is it? No. Yeah, I'll have to analyze this on my own. But this is definitely something to keep in mind. I'm pretty sure there's one or two things that I'm missing. Especially here. Yeah, and the level of detail. Yeah, especially the level of detail. So by tweaking that down, I'm pretty sure I can make it work better. But it's still dropped to 27 with the Steam Deck settings. So, yep. So good. I have a reason to finish the game for tomorrow. So anyway, guys, I think that's it for now. I'll have to play until this mission in the campaign when you're in this section. That is very action heavy. And I'm going to see if I can find which setting is making it drop so hard. That'll be fun. But at the moment, this is what I have. My advice, again, medium settings, low particles, and low draw distance with quality XeSS. And you should be good 90% of the time. But this type of map is the one that dies. So I have to test here, definitely. So yeah, I found it on the deck even with cryo settings. Still don't get it to run at 30 without looking horrendous. What? Why? That's weird. Do you have an LCD Steam Deck by any chance? It should still run pretty similar to this. That's odd. The Last of Us 2 runs better than The Last of Us 1. If we're talking about The Last of Us 1, then yeah, I had the same issue.
Go! Comb this entire area. Hunt them down. Found you. Get up here.
No freaking way. See guys, the AI in this game is fantastic for the humans. LCD Steam Deck, well yeah, if we're talking about the first game, definitely a problem, because the first game ran like garbage for me. The second game runs way better. I just need to figure out what makes the game drop so hard in this area in particular. Apart from the rain and the reflections and all that. But again, from the 2 hours that I've been playing with the Steam Deck, this game, this is the only moment where I had issues like this. So I'll basically figure it out in the next couple days. I'll do a separate video doing a breakdown. But is the Steam Deck is The Last of Us Part 2 on Steam Deck verified enough? Yes, I think so. And you can even go higher. I highly recommend disabling dynamic resolution, keep it on quality FSR or XeSS, and increase the settings either to medium or keep the Steam Deck setting if you want to. But yeah, it's verified enough in my opinion. GG, I'm happy Nixus jumped in and Aaron Galaxy wasn't the one finishing the product. But yeah, I'll highly recommend it on Steam Deck. If you don't mind playing at 30 FPS, it has very good visuals. I think it rivals the PS4. Some stuff on PS4 does look better, like resolution, reflections, and some materials. But yeah, it's fantastic on Steam Deck. Runs better than The Last of Us Part 1. So there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm looking forward to seeing you again once I make another one, which will be about this game and Spider-Man 2 on the demanding parts. So on this game, I'm going to be in this same section that I showed you. And on Spider-Man 2, I'll be fighting symbiotes across the board. So it will be interesting. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos. Ciao, 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 ciao. See ya. Thank you. Love you all.